Whiskey monogamy just isn't my thing. By the end of this book, it won't be yours either. The most important thing I've learned by hosting events, whether they're for 100 corporate executives on behalf of a big whiskey company or for 2 guests at the Flatiron Room, is how to talk about it. And while speaking to thousands, yes, that's right, thousands of whiskey drinkers, my goal is to demystify whiskey and answer questions like, how do you taste whiskey? What are you supposed to smell? Do you swirl whiskey like wine? Can you put ice in a whiskey? Water? What does small batch mean? Why is Johnny Walker Blue so expensive? What is moonshine? Why does this bottle say non-chill filtered? How do you store it? Can you make money by investing in it? Can women drink it? Today, American whiskey sales alone top $1 billion, up from $376 million about a decade ago. Its popularity is growing faster than the good information available on the topic. And some of the advice out there is just plain off the mark. I've read blogs written by brutish whiskey fans that say certain critically acclaimed brands aren't even good enough to use as a toilet cleaner, and that to drink them means you have no taste. But taste is subjective. I've heard brand ambassadors explain that whiskey won't make you drunk, but tequila will. Nonsense. I read nosing notes on websites and in books that go on for as many pages as Moby Dick. But the truth is, most experts can realistically identify 5 distinct aromas. I listened to a tourist guide for a famous American whiskey distillery explain to 30 of us that all Scotch tastes like smoke. Not true. My role here, then, is to sift through all the junky information out there and give you a real primer of whiskeys so that you'll be able to identify bunk like a champ and become an expert yourself. You'll taste along the way and have fun, too. And the number 1 question is, how did someone like you, a chick, get into whiskey? It's a question asked a dozen times per day, and sometimes I just don't feel like explaining myself. I'd prefer to get right into nosing and tasting. But someone like me needs to establish credibility, according to one CEO who attended my tasting. I resisted that advice for years, but he was right. Now I always explain my background. The result? First, guests cease fact-checking things I say with their iPhones tucked under the table, and second, I don't have to answer, do you really drink this stuff, after I've taught a 90-minute class. How I got into whiskey. Before whiskey, there was music. As a professional solo musician for close to 10 years, I poured my heart and soul into the creation of song, the rigor of touring, the passion of singing, and the pure joy of playing keyboard. I had recorded 2 albums, which received wildly wonderful reviews in New York City, and I was performing in front of rapidly growing audiences. From the outside, my music career appeared wonderfully on track, but my bank account told a different story. After I'd had 1 sold-out concert in New York City, an appearance on WFUV in New York, and even a European Rolling Stone review in anticipation of an upcoming tour, a friend, who had also just completed a European tour with a world-famous musician, asked me for $20 because cash flow was tough. We were on the corner of Broadway and 4th Street, right next to a boarded-up Virgin Records store. I went to get money, and instead of hearing the comforting electronic patter of bills being sorted inside the ATM machine, the dreaded "Funds Not Available" sign flashed on the screen. We walked back to the club where we had just performed and shamelessly asked our bass player friend to get us both, 2 professional musicians, home in his truck. The advent of new technology and iTunes had officially tossed the music world upside down, and none of us were making money anymore. What should have started looking like a lucrative, finally, career became a barrage of confusion, record label fights, and overall heartbreak for just about every musician I knew, including myself. Around the same time, my husband was accepted to graduate school in Edinburgh, Scotland. We packed our stuff and left Manhattan during the fall of 2005. I very quickly went from a struggling musician with promise to a struggling musician.